Among the wreckage of the Zalith colony, scientists discovered a single artifact, a severed alien hand, preserved in stasis inside a shattered pod. It pulsed faintly with residual energy, as if refusing death. The Zaliths were a species thought extinct after the war. Their technology was centuries ahead of humanity, and the hand was the only surviving remnant. Where most saw a relic, Earth's researchers saw an opportunity. In secret, within the sterile chambers of Project Aegis, they attempted the impossible, rebuilding a body from the fragments of alien DNA. And so she was born. 1. The reconstruction. It began with tissue. Cells multiplied, organs formed, bones stretched. Within months, a full body floated in the nutrient tank. Tall, luminous, with skin like faintly glowing porcelain and eyes shut in eternal sleep. The project required a team of elite scientists, engineers, and medics. But among them was one man who didn't belong, Evan Hale, the janitor. Evan swept the corridors, emptied waste bins, and scrubbed the observation windows of the lab. While others discussed genetics and bioengineering, he whistled tunelessly and carried his mop. The scientists barely noticed him, but Evan noticed her. Every night when the labs were empty, he paused at the glass, staring at the girl suspended in glowing fluid. Something about her stirred him, loneliness, maybe, or the fragile hope that even ruin could give birth to life. He began talking to her softly as he worked. Don't know if you can hear me in there. Place gets cold at night. Hope they are treating you right. 2. The awakening. Months later, alarms blared across the facility. Subject is stabilizing. Neural activity detected. She's waking. Get the medical team, now. The scientists scrambled around the chamber. Lights flashed, monitors screamed. Within the tank, the alien girl's eyes snapped open. They glowed like twin stars. Her hand pressed against the glass, the same hand that had been salvaged from the ruins, now reborn with flesh, blood, and purpose. The fluid drained, the chamber opened, and she collapsed onto the platform, gasping her first breath. Dozens of scientists rushed forward. White coats, masked faces, gloved hands. She panicked. The voices were sharp, unfamiliar. Instruments surrounded her. Restraint snapped into place. And then she saw him. At the edge of the chaos, a man in a faded blue uniform stood frozen with his mop. His face wasn't hidden behind a mask. His eyes weren't cold with analysis. He looked shocked. Human. Real. Her gaze locked onto him. And something inside her, the echo of memory or instinct, calmed. The first face she saw was a janitor's. Free. A fragile bond. In the days that followed, she remained skittish, wary of the scientists. She hissed when they prodded her with instruments, recoiled when they spoke too loudly. But with Evan, it was different. He would sit on a stool outside her recovery room, eating his lunch, pretending not to notice her staring. Sometimes he'd mutter jokes to himself, and she'd tilt her head, curious. One evening, as he mopped the floor, she whispered her first word, her voice cracked and strange. Why, you? Evan blinked. Me what? Why, not them. She gestured vaguely toward the absent scientists. He smiled, scratching the back of his neck. Guess I'm not trying to study you. Just trying to be here. She considered this, then repeated softly, be here. From that moment, she clung to his presence. When he was nearby, she was calm. When he left, her eyes darted anxiously, searching for him. The scientists were baffled. They had rebuilt her body, restored her life, but her trust belonged to the janitor. 4. Memory in the blood. Her name, she eventually told him, was Elithra. The word carried weight, like an ancient title. Through fragmented dreams, she began to recall pieces of a people, their cities of crystal, their songs carried on light, their downfall in fire. But more alarming, she remembered enemies, machines that had hunted her kind across the stars. The Zalith had fought valiantly, but they had lost. She was not merely a survivor. She was a warning. The war is not done, she whispered to Evan one night. They will come. For me. For you. The scientists dismissed her fears as delusions of a reborn mind. But Evan saw the terror in her eyes, and he believed her. 5. The attack. The warning came true sooner than anyone expected. One midnight, the sky split open as ships unlike any human design descended. Black, angular, silent, like predators shaped into metal. Alarms screamed across the facility. Automated defenses fired, but the invaders cut through them with ease. The scientists panicked, attempting to evacuate their data. Soldiers rushed in, unprepared for the enemy's precision. And in the chaos, Elithra was a target. "They want me," she told Evan, clutching his arm. "I am the key they lost." The hand carried more than flesh. It carried codes, memories, weapons. Evan swallowed hard. He had no weapons, no training. Just a mop and a stubborn refusal to run. "Then we're not letting them take you." 6. The choice. Corridors burned. Shadows moved with mechanical precision. Elithra's power was awakening, her eyes blazing, her hands crackling with energy, but she was weak, unstable. Evan dragged her through the facility, dodging explosions, shielding her with his own body. They reached the generator chamber, where the machines closed in. Soldiers lay fallen. Only the janitor and the alien girl remained. Elithra trembled. "If they take me, your world falls. I cannot stop them unless I merge with the core." Evan frowned. "Merge!" "My body rebuilt from one hand. It is incomplete. The core can finish it. But once I enter, I may not return." Her voice shook, not from fear of death, but of leaving the only person who had seen her as more than an experiment. Evan took her hand, the same hand that had once been nothing but a relic. "You've already come back once. Maybe you'll come back again. But either way, I'll be here." Tears glimmered in her glowing eyes. She stepped into the core. 7. The Rebirth. Light erupted, consuming the chamber. The machines froze mid-attack as Elithra's form dissolved into energy, fusing with a generator. Then she reappeared, not fragile, not broken, but whole, taller, radiant, her body a perfect synthesis of alien technology and living flesh. The marks of her people burned like fire across her skin. With a cry that shook the walls, she unleashed power that ripped through the invaders. The machines shattered, collapsing like puppets with severed strings. Silence followed. Smoke filled the air. And then she turned, eyes still blazing, and the first thing she searched for was Evan. He stood, covered in ash, still clutching his mop like a useless weapon. "You came back," he said. She smiled, weary but alive. "I told you. Be here." 8. Legacy. After the battle, the truth could no longer be hidden. Humanity learned of the machine empire still stalking the stars, and of the alien girl reborn from a single hand. Elithra became both a symbol and a bridge between species. But despite her power, despite her destiny, she kept close to the one man who had seen her not as a weapon or experiment, but as a person. And whenever officials or generals asked her why she trusted the janitor above all others, she simply replied, "Because when I opened my eyes, his was the first face I saw."